Colvin Creation says, growing up in the UK, I was in awe of the materials you were able to get on MythBusters, glue, relays, etc. Do you think it was historically easier to purchase materials in the US rather than internationally? Well, I mean, as a resident of the US, it's easier to purchase the things that I know are here. And I'm constantly going to other countries, other cities, other states where there's a shop that has a material in it and that I can't get that material shipped to me here in California because it violates some environmental law. Totally understand that. But like, that's a long way of saying wherever you go, there's going to be specific materials that you have access to. And that's not going to be universal. So, I mean, it would probably quite surprise you to walk through the mold department of a UK special effects shop and then walk through the mold department at Legacy Effects or Spectral Motion. Because what's going on in mold making in film right now is that in the UK, they're doing a fundamentally, radically different kind of mold making using vacuums to pull resin into solid body molds that are monolithic and gigantic. And in the US, we're still making silicone blanket molds with mother molds like we have for decades. Now, I'm not positive that Legacy doesn't ever use the vacuum mold technique. It's like, I don't spend a lot of time in that shop, but like, yeah, you are always held to what you have available to you. Man, the number of times I have like seen a paint that I like at Weta Workshop and tried to order it and couldn't. At the same time, Richard Taylor told us that for many of the materials that he buys for Weta, he is frequently the largest national importer of that material. Kenny Davis says, I'm working on an Apollo-inspired helmet for a personal project. If you were making one without NASA money, what processes would you consider to get that look? Okay, so when you want to make a helmet that looks like it's an industrial helmet, the smoothness of your surface is going to be paramount to selling that illusion. Norm, would you hand me the Aces helmet behind you there? So this is the Aces helmet that I built a few years back, and this is a 3D printed helmet. In this case, I did not go through the trouble of sanding this crazy smooth and painting it myself. I actually hired Sean Thorson and his shop to do it up in Petaluma because he had a spray booth, he had auto hardening, he had auto paints with two parts that harden. He was just much more set up to do a high gloss paint job than I was. And honestly, these arrived and they were just perfect. So that's not NASA money. It's just a couple $100 to do that. I have in the past sometimes gotten auto shops to paint helmets for me. If you get an auto shop to agree, sometimes you're not going to be able to get them to care. They still might be willing to spray the thing that you place in front of their spray gun, but like, there's been a couple of times when I had it done where it was full of drips. But here's also the thing about auto paint. It is so glossy that drips can tend to disappear. But if I had to do it today, and I did not have any NASA money to do that, and I had to do this on the super cheap, I would probably be buying several cans of 2K. And 2K is a generic industry term for spray paint that is like a auto paint with two parts to it, one that is a hardener and one that is the color base. So in automobile painting, you mix them together and then you only have like a couple of hours before that paint just becomes jelly and becomes hard. But that means that it sets and you get a really, really robust, thick coat. So with 2K, that's a spray can that does that. And you can buy 2K filler primer. You should plan to use the whole can. And actually, that would be the smart money to 3D print. Here's how I would tackle it. I would be 3D printing this helmet. And let's just say, since we're going cheap, we're doing it filament. So it's going to have lines. I would do a rudimentary orbital disc sand on it. And then I would hit it probably with 3 full cans of 2K. I'd start out with 2, and I'd just empty a whole can on it over a period of a couple of hours, come back the next day, do the same thing again if it needed any more texture removal. The paint job that I just executed, excuse me, is a creature with these black eyes. And the eyes were the thing I knew from the get-go I had to get perfectly glossy. Anything less, it's just not a character. I hope that was helpful, Kenny Davis. Good luck. Oh, also, once you have made your helmet, I can't stress enough to go in and beat it up a little bit, weather it up a little bit. NASA equipment does not look pristine at all, and that's kind of one of my favorite things about it. So don't be afraid of throwing a black wash on and pulling it back off again. Don't be afraid of throwing some crushed walnuts at this to get some dirt in the interstices, etc. Yeah, glossy paint jobs are an absolute nightmare, and 2K has made it a lot easier. I used 2K to give the gloss coat to my Adam Savage and Carbonite sculpture. Oh, Predator Badlands. gimmebuilds has seen Predator Badlands 3 times. Congratulations. It's so, so good. Are there any props you think you'll want to tackle from this movie? Norm was just telling me that the Wacha weapons were all built by our friends at Weta. I am quite sure that they all look amazing in person, and the next time I'm there, I'm going to ask to see some of those. There's a pulse rifle. I love me a pulse rifle. I love me a pulse rifle. Hey, speaking of that, let me tease a build that's coming, not a build, but a show and tell that's coming up. Recently obtained one of Amos's hero shotguns from The Expanse. Speaking of pulse rifles, right? This belongs on a rack with some other pulse rifles, even though it's an auto shotgun from the show. Yeah, I'm very pleased to have put that into my collection. Oh, also, I forgot. At the top of this, we took a picture with this beautiful Hellboy maquette. This is, I sort of kicked off the new year here in the cave with a paint job. It's one I've been thinking about for weeks. I've actually been doing drawings and notes about it for weeks. And I finally executed it last week, and I'm very pleased with it. That build will go up on the channel soon. But it got my juices flowing about wanting to do some complicated paint jobs. And a few years ago, a friend of mine at Tippett gave me this beautiful casting. This is Matt Rose's sculpt of, this is the first maquette sculpt of what Hellboy would look like as what Ron Perlman would look like as Hellboy. Now, Matt Rose also sculpted the face of the Predator. He's a legend. He's no longer with us. It is really sad. He's was an incredible sculptor. In fact, in the video of me painting this, there'll be some close-ups that show just how delicate his work is. Yeah, and I'm going to have so much fun painting this. I'm going to paint it as if it's a bronze casting with some polychrome on it. Yeah, so pretty. Anyway, okay, let's see here. What's been going on? Thank you for watching. I wanted to talk to you about Tested membership. The Tested members are a key community that we find really remarkable, that's very separate from Tested and from YouTube. The Tested members, they buy each other memberships during our live streams, so if you're wondering whether to become a member, watch one of our live streams and someone may just give you one. It is hard to overestimate how much the Tested members actually make possible on this channel. They give us a lot of wiggle room. They give us a huge amount of feedback.
That's a member right now.
Thank you so much for enjoying your membership. Description for everything you need to know. And for all the members out there, thank you.